Even worse than that, my brother saw the newspaper story and texted to
Okay.
me. They started selling townhouses in Harlem for $1 as well. The first part is that it's totally legit. So a lot of the homes that are on the dollar list, they had like 600 homes in this town. So what's now left is the worst of the worst. And the catch is that you have 3 years to get it safe. Me, I ended up buying 2 properties that were, neither of them were Euro homes. Yeah, the tip I would say is be aware of the premium market. Like, how expensive is it really? My plan is that I'm going to use them as like vacation rentals, like vacation for me and my family, and rentals whenever I'm not there.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here. Have you guys heard about those €1 houses in Italy? Yeah, if you guys don't remember, there was a couple news articles that came out maybe 6 months or a year ago about how in Sicily, they're literally selling properties for €1. Now, I'm not sure the exact conversion rate, but I'm still pretty sure that works out to cheap in American or Canadian dollars. Now, I didn't have the foresight or the fortitude to actually go check out those properties, but fortunately, on today's show, my guest, Karl Pierre, he actually did. And not only did he go and check there, he bought 2 houses in Italy for costs that you're not even going to believe. But beyond that, he actually gives us some great insights into if you're going to go look at buying those Euro houses. He's got some great pro tips from someone that's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. One of the bonuses of today's video, I now got a place to stay in Italy. All right, let's dive into today's video with Karl.
Hi, my name is Karl Pierre, also known as ENTP Life here on YouTube. My story is a little different than most people. I come from a middle-class neighborhood, and I've been able to grow my mini empire to just $15 million in real estate owned and managed. And I also own a home healthcare agency that does just about $1 million a month in revenue. Actually, in 2019, we did $12 million, so that averages out to $1 million a month. And we're continuing to grow. I employ over 400 people here in the United States and also abroad. I have a call center in Venezuela, one in Colombia, and I'm starting to invest internationally as well. See, for me, investing in real estate was kind of the byproduct of having to put my money somewhere and getting like a multiple of my money, right? So as I'm making money in my primary business, which is home healthcare, I'm able to take like $1 million a year and turn that into $4 million of real estate owned. So it's something that I try to teach people to do so that they're able to get the most out of their money and eventually arrive at a point in their life where they no longer need to work and can start to take in the world for what it is. See, in my day-to-day life outside of work, I spend my time flying around the country in my own plane, and I try to travel as much as possible so I can actually see the world instead of just being a cog in the machine.
Let's just dive right into that. Tell me about what's the story behind that. How did you originally even like hear about this? The same way that I did, just with like crazy newspaper stories, or
even worse than that? My brother saw the newspaper story and texted to me. Right? So
nice.
One morning I'm just sitting there, and my brother, you know, he lives in North Carolina, USA. He knows I invest in real estate, so he just shot me a message saying, "Hey man, have you seen this? They're doing these Euro homes." And if you're familiar with New York, there's a part of New York City that was historically like horrible. Harlem, New York, right? It's the north side of Manhattan. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, huge crack epidemic, huge crime problem. They started selling townhouses in Harlem for $1 as well.
Oh,
so
I didn't know
he was
that.
like, yeah, he was like, oh man, you know, we missed out on that because we were too young. So he was like, you know, maybe this could be like Harlem and you could, you know, grab it. Because we would talk about things like that. Like, could you believe like these $3 million brownstones were selling for $1 like 20, 30 years ago? And our parents didn't buy it. Like, I was born in Harlem. So our parents moved out of there as soon as they could. And they never took part in like kind of the revitalization of the neighborhood.
Gotcha.
So like, what a disaster. But they could have picked up the healthcare workers, so they could have picked up properties for $1. So it was like for firefighters, police officers, community workers, they could pick up properties for that cheap. I think there's that guy on YouTube, I think Ben Mala.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. He built a lot of his portfolio around that time in New York City, where these dumpy properties in the Bronx and in Upper Manhattan were selling for nothing because they were bombed out. You had to deal with the crackheads. You had to deal with the gang violence. but you stand to benefit if you did. So once he saw that, it triggered that thought. So he sent it to me, and I was like, all right, sounds good. And I was like, what do you want to do? He was like, I always wanted to have a vineyard. And I was like, oh, whatever, man. I was like, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to check it out. And I'm leaving with something, right? There's no way I'm flying to Sicily and not getting something. So in the actual article, they list one of the brokers that are dealing with the sales in this city called Musomelli, right? So Musomelli is a small, central city or town in Sicily. And I reach out to the agent, and she tells me that they had like a date in like November and then a date in February, right? And this was back in probably like October.
Okay.
So it's like, November's too soon for me to just get up and go. It's like, book me for February. So, right before the coronavirus epidemic, really took hold of Italy. Actually, when I landed there, they were already like taking people's temperatures coming off the plane. And I was like, what do you think? These guys are crazy, right? I was like actually making fun of it. I filmed it. I filmed the entire thing, and I'm making fun of it. And I was like, these guys, whatever, man. So I go to Italy, and essentially it's like their old town. It's, to me, it's gorgeous, like narrow streets, cobblestone streets, like these stone townhouses. And they're selling it on the cheap because the locals have either left the city because they've gone to the bigger cities for college or work, or they moved to the new side of the city where the streets are wider and cars can fit. So these are properties that are built 1600, 1700, right? So it's like, they don't have quite the design that people want. Bedrooms are smaller, the houses are smaller. A lot of them are like 1 or 2 bedroom homes. So people have like moved on over to the new side of town. But this old side is so like nostalgic. It has so much charm to it. And what people would think of like owning an old Italian townhouse is exactly what you get. And they're selling them for as low as $1.
Gotcha. So is there some sort of hidden tax? Like, is there some sort of catch, am I walking into tons of taxes, or like, is it legitimately that good of a deal in your opinion?
Okay, so I have a 2-part answer for you.
Okay.
So the first part is that it's totally legit, right? So as you would expect, it's in a part of town that they're trying to revitalize. So they want you to invest money into that property, into the area. So a lot of the homes that are on the dollar list, they had like 600 homes in this town. So what's now left is the worst of the worst, right? So the better inventory got scooped up, the worst of it is available. So some of these are blight properties, like either the exteriors are horrible or inside they're falling apart. And the catch is that you have 3 years to get it safe, right? So that's improving the facade so it looks normal, and making sure that if somebody walks inside there, they won't fall through the ground, right?
Gotcha.
So and that gives you a sense of what the condition of these properties are. But the taxes are low. They're like 500 or 600 euros a year, right? So that's cheap. I thought, it would be much higher. So it's very cheap carrying costs. Like your basic hookups for like electricity and water will cost you about 60 euros a month, whether you're using it or not, right? So that's one of the carrying costs there. But the thing is, like, a contractor, like a general contractor, laborer, they get paid like 12 to 1,600 euros a month. So it's cheaper for the construction work than I would pay in New York, right? To renovate these properties is not that expensive. The other part to that is that the Euro homes are kind of like the sensational draw, but they have what's called the premium market. And the premium market sells for a little more than a Euro, but far less than anything that you can imagine buying here, right? Or, in North America. So I ended up buying 2 properties that were, neither of them were Euro homes, because one of the properties I paid 5,000 euros for. It's a 1-bedroom, maybe like, I don't know, 40, 50 square meters, something like that. So it's like 2 stories, corner unit. And then I bought another one that's like a 3-level, maybe like 120 square meters. So decent, like starter home size, I would say. I paid 12,000 euros for that. And both of them, like the 12,000 euro one, I got like this awesome view of the countryside. I'm going to send you a picture so you can include that. I got an awesome view of the countryside, and I got my own little, it actually is on a road that's wide enough for a car. And I have like this, front patio that I can park on. So I think it's a win, and I don't have to do anything to it. It's ugly in the sense that like it's outdated, but it is totally in livable condition. And I'm getting the furniture actually too for
nice.
for 12,000. And then the other one I'm paying 5,000 euros for. So when I compared what it was going to cost me to take a Euro property to even that condition, it would have cost me more. So why would I pay for that unless I wanted that project, unless I wanted it for like, I don't know, fun. But it didn't make financial sense because like one of the properties was like collapsed and the roof was collapsed. So between just stabilizing it, I would have spent more than 5,000 or even 12,000. So why not just buy, a move-in ready sort of home and then spend a little money beautifying it. So that's the angle that I went with.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to be in for both of them for like less than 35,000 for total for both.
Yeah.
Because like the small one, I'm guessing I'm going to spend like 5,000 fixing it up. The bigger one, maybe 10.
Gotcha.
So that's me kind of like inflating the number a bit because I don't think I need to spend that much.
Okay. And then what's your plan once you have these fixed up? Are you renting them out? Or are they just a vacation home? And is there any restrictions on what you do with the property? Like, can you turn around and sell it if you wanted to?
Yeah. So the both of them, you can tell whether it's the Euro deal, like you don't have to hold on to it. They just care that somebody's paying taxes and that is not going to kill anybody.
Yeah.
So that's their concern. So you can do whatever you want with it after that. My plan is that I'm going to use them as like vacation rentals, like vacation for me and my family, and rentals whenever I'm not there. Because there's still people who are coming in and buying. So I stayed at Airbnb when I went. So it's like for those people, they need a place to stay. And in the summertime, when people come back from school, and like the culture in Europe is that way, from like May to October, they go south, they go to the coast, and they live their lives, right? And they enjoy their time. So they have a lot of people who are working in like Germany, England, in the countries that they can earn more, that they come back for the summertime. So they bring their friends and they need the extra space. So I feel that, think about it. If I spend a total of 15,000 on my small one, and I can rent it out for $50 a night, right? I make $250 a month. I'm still doing a pretty good return on my $15,000 spent. So I'm hoping, if I get one tourist once a month for a weekend or something like that, that should be enough for what I spent. So that's my idea with it. And I think like it's kind of cool to even say I have it.
Yeah,
right? Like
no, absolutely it is. Yeah.
If I want a vacation with some friends and family, or if I just want to say, hey, you know what? If you're gonna be going to Sicily, stay at my place, and it's away from the action. So like there's a castle there. They go, there's a castle, the castle of Musamelli. So you can tour the castle, you could, play with sheeps. Like it's so cool, man. Yeah. And then it's only 40 minutes from the nearest coast town.
Oh, okay.
And so that coast, that's like a Agrigento. There's temples there, like old, like Greco style temples. And then you have the coast, the southern coast of Sicily. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's a steal.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating to me. I remember when I was originally like seeing the headlines and stuff, it seemed super cool, but it's one of those things that's really easy to discount in your mind. And you're like, there must be some crazy catch to it. Yeah. So I'd love to know, is there anything you wish you would have known before you flew out to look at those properties, or any tips you would give to anyone that's like, hey, this actually sounds kind of cool? maybe once Italy's open again, I'll go check it out.
Yeah, the tip I would say is be aware of the premium market, right? And what does the premium market, like how expensive is it really, right? What's funny, I came across another guy on YouTube who's been touring. He moved to Italy. I actually did a video with him. He moved to Italy and he's been looking for a Euro home, and he invests there too. So we were going over the numbers, and he was like, in his town, he could pick up a condo for like 30,000 euros, rent it out for 500 a month, which I think is pretty good numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, those are the things that you could get in Italy. So like going there for a Euro home, know that you're going to probably spend more on the Euro home than some of the premium listings. So if you're looking for the best value, there's value to be had. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Euro home. If you're looking for a project, a passion project, then that's the one that is for you. Like I see like engineers, architects getting involved in that because the numbers don't make any sense. But if you're someone who's like, hey, you know what? I always kind of wanted this, or like in New York, we got tons of like generational Italians, right?
Yep.
That's like, oh, my family's from Italy or whatever. It's like for the price of a timeshare, you could actually own real estate in another country that you could generate revenue off of. So I would say be aware of that and take the chance, man. At worst, you get a good vacation.
Yeah, I love it. That seems so cool. And I might actually have to look, if for no other reason for the YouTube videos alone, I might have to look at just making a trip out there because that'd be some cool content.
Yeah, I'm going back because like my closings are this. I have to close by June 1st. So this morning I actually wired so here's some information. So I had to wire the broker's fee for the transaction. Since the prices of the properties are so low, it's actually a shared broker's fee. Some from the seller, some from the agent, a fixed dollar amount, because it's like it's not worth it for them to work. Yeah. To earn like a 3% commission on 5,000.
Makes sense.
So that broker's fee comes out to like $600 per building, which is not much. Okay. Yeah. Then there's like the title fees there. It's called like notary, but it's what I would consider a title in New York. They're the ones who are facilitating all the paperwork, the deed, registering you with the county or the municipality. That's around $2,500. And then that's also with them doing like translated documents and power of attorney. And so it's a little more because I'm abroad. Yeah. So you're talking about $3,100 added in cost above what I'm paying for it. So that's one thing, but I'm going back out once they let me back in. So if you wanna check it out, we could go out there. You can see it. By that time, I should be closed, right? So we won't need any places to stay.
Yeah, keep me posted. I would definitely be interested in that.
Definitely check it out.
This is fascinating, Karl. I love the fact that you're diving into so many different like businesses and niches. If people want to follow along with you on your journey, what's the best way to stay in contact?
The best way to stay in contact is following me on YouTube at ENTP Life. So that's ENTP Life, separated by a space. Over there, I cover investing in real estate. I go into kind of how to structure your business and the businesses that I'm in, right? So a deep dive into starting a home healthcare agency for those of you who might be interested. And then anything else that I'm interested in, I kind of throw it on there to give people like different looks at the things outside of real estate that I'm doing that, might be fascinating or interesting to others. So I kind of try to throw it all on there. And I kept it as my personality type just to kind of, give people an opportunity to highlight personality types and knowing them. And also like a real example of how my personality type functions in the world. So it's like, it's me on display. I'm not kind of isolated to one niche. I can do whatever I want. Right? I can do whatever I want, and that's really the main focus of the channel. So do whatever I want, and if people can learn from it, then great.
Awesome, I love it. Thanks again.
Not a problem.
That was pretty crazy. Who else is now thinking about going to Italy? In worst case, we can write it off as a business trip. In best case, we buy a house for what? 10,000 euros all in, including rentals? Doesn't sound too bad to me. I just love this. This is so interesting. Now, this is maybe not necessarily practical for your very first investment property unless you're looking for a vacation rental. But as you continue to grow your portfolio and your success as a real estate investor, these interesting opportunities become more and more practical for you. And so I'm so glad that Karl was able to share with us his experiences when it comes to buying this property, because I mean, I read that same news article that we all did, but how many of us actually then went and took a step based upon it? Yeah, not many. So I'm glad that we could learn from Karl's experiences, and I'm kind of curious now. I'd love to hear, have you guys thought about or have you looked into buying a property in Sicily? Have you looked into buying one of these Euro houses? Jump in the comment section and let me know. Or are you guys thinking about it now? Or is there somewhere else on this beautiful earth that we should be looking at buying real estate for like €1? I'd love to hear. Jump in the comment section, let me know. Otherwise, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks, guys.